What is up, my friends? How are we? It is Tuesday night, the night before the Reds take on Paris Saint-Germain over in Paris in the last 16 of the Champions League. And it looks like that quarter-final lineup is starting to take shape on our side of the draw. As I'm sitting here right now, going live, Arsenal 3-0 up away against PSV. So you'd imagine they're going to find their way through. And Club Brugge were beaten 3-1 by Aston Villa. And of course, we know if we get past PSG, we await the winner of that tie, which is very much looking like Unai Emery's side. So well done to both those teams on their performances so far tonight. Last I'd seen in the Madrid derby, it was 1-1. Of course, if I'm wrong on that one, do help me out. 3-1 now, there you go, 3-1. So, yeah, still feels a long way back, though, for PSV. But, you know, you want to see the English clubs progressing well, because that means more Champions League spaces for English clubs in the competition. But we want to make sure that we knock Villa out if we get to the quarters. But we've a long way to go before we're there. So tonight we're going to talk about the risk being taken by Richard Hughes around the contracts, particularly Ibrahim Konate, who is now of interest to PSG, Real Madrid. We're going to talk about that. We're going to go through and give you some updates from Arne Slot's press conference, of course, earlier on as well, including the news that Cody Gakpo is a doubt for the game. Not confirmed out yet, but absolutely not confirmed in either. We'll take you through what Arne Slot had to say around him as well. So that and lots more over the course of the next hour and a half or so. Right. Arsenal should be down to 10, said somebody else. There you go. Sorry, but where's the song? I didn't play it tonight because a couple of people moaned at me yesterday about playing it. So I'm trying to mix it up to keep everybody happy. Yeah, that's just it really. I just decided we'd come on tonight with no song. So there you go. And the song wouldn't be on while I'm talking anyway, mate. So either way, there you go. All done. Absolute belter from Alvarez to equalise for Atleti, said Nomad. Yeah, I'd seen that Real Madrid went 1-0 up early doors with Rodrigo. And then obviously the equaliser, as you mentioned there. So interesting tie, that one. Obviously the winner of Arsenal PSV Eindhoven will take on the winner of the Madrid derby. And then of course if we get past PSG, will be taking on the winner of Bruges and Villa. And it looks like Villa after the first leg. So we're going to go through all of that. We're going to talk about some links to Hugo Larsson. We're going to ask how realistic they are. And of course I'm going to ask you as always for your help. We're going to talk a little bit about KERKEZ, again confirmed that Liverpool are going to at least go with a bid, according to a journalist, and a couple of other interesting bits and pieces. Scotty, how are you, my man? Evening, Craig and chat. I think we beat PSG. It'll be difficult, I think, but up the Reds. Look, it is definitely not going to be easy, but I'm with you, Scotty. I think we get the job done, but it's going to be a tough task tomorrow. I wanted to get your thoughts, actually, on a comment from, one of the PSG players. Let me bring this up. So, João Neves, speaking in the press conference before the game, said, Liverpool have a lot of individual quality, but as a team, we are better. Really, Mr. Neves? That's what we're saying? As a team, Paris Saint-Germain are better. We'll see about that over the course of the two legs. I would strongly disagree with Mr. Neves' comments there. Yes, we have individual quality, but we also have a good team and work ethic, as has been, on display for a very long time. So there we go. I disagree, but let me know what you think. Do you agree with... I think they're getting a bit carried away because of recent good results. And look, they've certainly turned a corner under Luis Enrique. They certainly look far better over the last month or two than they had at the start of the campaign. But, you know, there's a big difference between destroying a couple of French sides or having big victories in the French Cup and coming out and beating Liverpool over two legs. But let's see if Mr. Neves is right and if PSG are indeed a better team. It's interesting though. I'm buzzing for it tomorrow. Can't wait for the game to come around. It feels like a long time since we've played, which has only been a week, but at this point of the season, a week feels like a long time. But we do have 3 games now coming up over the next 6 days. PSG tomorrow, then we've got Southampton on Saturday, and we're going to then go and play at home against PSG on the Tuesday. I'm going to take you through some comments from Arne Slot, actually, about, the reasons why he was suspended and fined 70,000 quid. You've probably seen this already, but the transcript has been released, and this is what Arne Slot told Michael Oliver. He said, "You effing give them everything," and hopes he's proud of his performance. He also said, "If we don't win the league, I'll be effing blaming you." And by the way, I'm saving my F words here for a little bit later into the stream. I don't want to be dropping them too early. Sipke Hulshoff, the assistant coach to Arne Slot, said to the linesman and Michael Oliver, "Effing shit," and also "effing disgrace," as well as "you gave them everything." So, you know, it wasn't just a sarcastic handshake, because it always felt a bit weird that you get a £70,000 fine for a sarcastic handshake. But I also found the reason out why they accepted the charges and didn't challenge them. Apparently, if Arne Slot and Sipke Hulshoff or Liverpool did question the charges, or at least ask for a hearing, then it would probably have ended up being a £100,000 fine and a 3-game ban, which would have meant that Arne Slot wouldn't have been able to be on the sideline for the League Cup final against Newcastle, which of course would have been a massive headache. But there you go. But Michael Oliver has also been given no game this weekend because of the refereeing of the FA Cup incident, I believe, with Mateta getting 25 stitches in his ear for what Michael Oliver deemed to be a yellow card challenge initially. That has been upgraded to a red, obviously, after VAR, and Michael Oliver has no game this weekend, which it's about time referees start getting some accountability for their horrendous actions. Just confirming that from Mail Sport, they say referee Michael Oliver will not be involved in any Premier League games this weekend, a week on from initially missing the straight red card for Millwall goalkeeper Liam Roberts, which left Crystal Palace striker Jean-Philippe Mateta requiring 25 stitches. I have to say, I haven't seen this incident. I've seen a few still images of it, but I haven't seen it. But good to know that that Mateta is on the road to recovery as well, and any abuse that was aimed at the Millwall goalkeeper, I think, should be toned down as well, because it doesn't look like he did it on purpose from what I can gather, and he's come in for some stick as well. So, where do we want to start tonight, folks? Because it's going to be a quiet stream because the Champions League games are on, and that's okay. Gives us a chance to get to know each other a bit better. So, what would you like me to kick off with? Do you want me to go through the Arne Slot press conference, or do you want to get into the stuff around Alison Becker? We can talk about... Oh, actually, before we talk about anything, let's all just take a minute to wish a happy birthday to King Kenny. King Kenny posted on X to say, I've managed to make it another year. Really thankful for all the birthday wishes and great memories to look back on. And there are still some more memories to make. And of course, from everybody related to our channel, our audience, and I'm sure everybody in the Liverpool fan base. Happy birthday, King. Yeah, I mean, what a man. What a man. When I think of Liverpool, I think of Kenny Dalglish. That's the first thing that pops into my head. Right, so Hughes, said Alan. Okay, we can talk about Richard Hughes. I feel like that's a good place to start. So, it's a really difficult balancing act for me, because obviously as a Liverpool fan right now, I'm really happy with what we're seeing on the pitch. How could I not be? But we've seen lots of news stories come up over the last day or two about the likes of Ibrahim Konate, Luis Diaz, and a few others. And the reason I've put the title of tonight's stream as it is, I just feel like there hasn't been enough questioning of why it hasn't happened. Why we haven't seen Richard Hughes held to account for not getting Konate's contract sorted, or Diaz's contract, or Virgil or Moser Trent's. So I want to say, from me, and my opinion is, I think he's running a big risk here, both with the fan base and for the club, in the way that these contract situations have developed. So Ibrahim Konate, you know and I know, loves life at Liverpool. You know, we've seen him say many times he loves the club, loves the fans, and wants to stay here. Another report today came out in Le Parisien that said Ibrahim Konate is waiting until the end of the season before making a decision on his future. The same piece went on to say that Ibu is of interest to Real Madrid, and we know, of course, to Paris Saint-Germain as well. And this is all avoidable. I don't know why our club seemingly want us to be rinsed in the media about players who we can't get contract extensions done quickly for being linked to other clubs. And my question has always been, how is this being let go this far? I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but we are now in March and not one contract sorted out. So we're hearing stories about Conor Bradley getting a new 4 or 5 year deal from the club, which everybody, of course, absolutely believes he deserves. But, you know, there are far more pressing concerns other than the media telling us that Richard Hughes is now going to be negotiating another extension for another player in Conor Bradley, when you have 5 players ahead of him there that don't know their futures. And that, my friends, is why I'm frustrated as a Liverpool fan. I don't know how everybody else feels about Richard Hughes' situation, but it's hard to really give him any credit outside of appointing Arne Slot when we've no idea what's going on or why he's failed so miserably to get the contracts extended. Because We keep getting told the club want to do it. We know some of the players want to do it. So it doesn't seem like this big stumbling block exists. But yet here we are in March time with not one of them done. And it frustrates me that it's not being called out more by others. Because I get it. Nobody wants to destabilise a good season. But, you know, is us calling out Richard Hughes not doing his job more likely to upset a season? Or is Richard Hughes letting these players' contracts run down and not have their future sorted out a bigger headache? I would argue Richard Hughes not sorting out the contracts is a bigger problem for the club. So where are we? And why do you think it's happening? Because I don't want to see stories about Canade being linked to Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain. He should be at Liverpool. He should be the future of that defence, and I hope he will be. But again, it feels like a very fixable problem that we haven't, and I'm getting tired of it. Scotty said it's because we're lowballing the players. It's because Bradley's new contract will be cheap compared to Canade's. Yeah, I'd say there could be something to that, Stephen. But even at that, right, allowing for that, we're still to start a negotiation. So right now, we're to believe that Richard Hughes is going to start negotiation with Conor Bradley, that he's working really hard, leaving no stone unturned to get Mo, Virgil and Trent to stay. Canada he's negotiating with. Diaz he's negotiating with. I mean, 6 or 7 contracts there that he is negotiating with and not one of them done. Now Bradley, of course, that's just a new one. We can't really hold him to account on that one. But it's mad. It really is frustrating to me as a fan that we don't have any pushback on why this has taken so long. Issa said Liverpool made a big loss, so probably there's no money. Don't be fooled into that big loss nonsense. It's absolute pony of the highest order. There was no big loss. Liverpool lost 59 million before tax or something like that, and that will be more than made up. So don't worry about not being money. Don't buy in to that not being money stuff. That's absolute nonsense. So don't be frustrated. Don't let it get you thinking that there isn't money at this club to spend. No, don't fall for that old trick. Corbin, how are you, bro? I want £1 million. Madrid can pee off. Cool. I'll have £1 million as well if it's going, my man. I'll take £1 million if it's on offer. It's all down to money, Craig. Our owners are always up for doing cheap business. Yep, Gino, I don't disagree with you, sir. Yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything else to add to that. I was trying to think of a way to, I guess, maybe juxtapose a cheap deal with a more complicated deal. But I would say, looking at Ibrahim Konate as an example, I wouldn't say that that's going to be an earth-shatteringly high deal for Liverpool. You know, I'd say Ibu will be below the 200 grand a week mark anyway. I'm talking probably, I don't know what he's on now, but I'd guess 150 is probably the number they'll come to with him, if even that. So I don't think that that's an earth-shatteringly huge deal. And are we really that hard up that we're risking alienating and frustrating these guys to save a few million quid over the course of a few months? I mean, are we that hard up? Andre said, how is Hughes still at his job? I wish I could get paid to do nothing. I think we'd all love it, mate. You know, I'd love to be saying for years, oh yeah, I'm working on it. I'm working really hard to negotiate all these things, but I haven't managed to get one done. And then, by the way, we're supposed to believe that we'll also get all these done and then do all the business of bringing players in, as well as all the business of bringing players out, as well as all the loan players and all the other stuff. So we're supposed to believe we can't get a contract extension done in 9 months, but we'll get everything else done over the course of 2 or 3. I just don't. It doesn't smell right to me, is the best way I can put it, probably. Nomad said, it's about time the journalists started asking why have the contracts not been signed. Do some actual journalism. How do you lose 59 million, buy no players and make loads in transfer sales? I don't know, mate, but again, I seen a piece from Kieran Maguire today trying to talk about Liverpool being genius for having a 0.1 million spend on transfers, talking about transfers that haven't had any impact. Because if he's talking about the last 2 transfer windows, which he said for this season, Liverpool haven't strengthened one bit. So it's in no way a masterclass of how to do transfer business on the cheap and win a league title. The whole narrative, for me, needs to be changed because it's too excusatory of the owner's lack of investment. And the more that people get bombarded with this nonsense, the more that they're going to think it's okay that our owners don't invest into the squad or into transfers. And it absolutely is not. Be under no illusion. Yes, we're going to win the Premier League this season, but we're going to win it in spite of these cheap owners, not because of them. And I'm getting fed up of being told we should all be grateful for no spending. It's bullshit. FSG shouldn't become complacent or else the club will be at a disadvantage. Exactly. So one way you could look at this situation is the way that a lot of the journalists are looking at it, which is what we've done has us winning the league. So that's one way of looking at it, right? You can make an argument for that. But my take is, imagine how further ahead we could be, or how many more trophies, or a dynasty that we could be building if we didn't sit on our hands and actually spent the last few windows building and progressing the squad. It feels like, to me, we're being set up for a lot of youthful players coming through on lower wages that we hope make it. So that to me, look, it's all worrying. I can't lie. It's all worrying, and it feels like smoke and mirrors yet again. Dino said, we used to be just a selling club, and now since the Klopp era, we're an even bigger club. We deserve more respect with other European teams, plain and simple. These contract negotiations will surely delay new incoming transfers, said Dershan 12. We need transfers as soon as the window opens. Nomad said, Chiesa has done nothing. It's the same squad as last season. That's my whole point. That's my whole point. To boast about us doing good business in the last window or two, and that being a reason as to why others don't need to spend money, you need to be more efficient with it, that's absolute bollocks. All that's happened is the very same squad from last season hasn't had as many injuries. And there's a lot to be said about that, by the way. That's a good thing that Arne Slot and Ruben Peters have done and the sports science team have done. But it's not the genius of spending no money that made us, where we are. It's great coaching, hard-working players. And it just feels like, again, there's two. I call them soup takers here in Ireland. I don't know what Kool-Aid drinkers, whatever you want to say, but it just feels like, yet again, nobody has the backbone to say what many, many, many people are thinking, and I'm going to continue to say it. Aryan, FSG should be grateful to the team, Klopp and Slot. Look, FSG have a lot to be grateful for. The fact that they bought a club for 300 million that's worth about 5 billion would be one reason. And look, they've earned some of that money with good, solid decision making. It's never been a case that we don't think FSG are professional or FSG haven't streamlined the club, brought in loads of commercial partners. Look, everybody will acknowledge the good stuff that they've done. And it should be acknowledged, like I've said many times. But you can't just always say everyone's great. You have to be able to say, right, well, they're brilliant in these areas. Strategically, they've done great business, but they've also underinvested in being cheap. I don't understand why a journalist can't do those things. Say, yes, the stadium enhancements have been brilliant. Yes, the access is brilliant. But that's also made them a lot of money in the valuation of the club going up. You need to start reinvesting that back into the playing squad. That's my point. Need to get money in. Need to get the best players on the pitch. And no more one-offs. We want to have a team, as Arne Slot has said, that can challenge for every trophy for the next few years. And to be fair to Arne, he feels optimistic that we will do that. And I very much hope we have an exciting transfer window ahead. But I feel very dubious believing that we're going to get all the contracts we need sorted and then all the ins and outs done over the course of the summer when we haven't been able to get one sorted in 9 months. Does that not seem like a fair enough take? That it's very difficult to believe everything can get done in a couple of months, but over the course of 9 months, we couldn't get one contract extended. That's my point in a nutshell throughout the last few months. Till Sheen said, PSG are very dangerous, well-rounded team. To be fair, lads, we could play Brentford and some people in our chat would be making them out to be prime Barcelona. Don't have fear. Have respect. That's the best way I can say it. We should be Paris Saint-Germain. We should. But we have to earn the right to do it. And like you said, they have improved. They're a decent side. But don't be daunted by it. Liverpool should be going there looking to win. And looking to get the job done. With no fear, because there's a reason we're in the position we're in. Because they're a damn good team with good players and a great coach. So, you know, don't do other people's work for them and fearmonger. Let's just see what happens. So, simple question to start off tonight for a poll. The easiest way I can put this question is, are you happy with Richard Hughes' work so far? Simple yes or no. We'll let that go in the back while I will take you through some of the press conference today. So Arne Slot and Wataru Endo took today's pre-Champions League press conference. Really interesting question put to Endo was, has he been speaking to Kanade about PSG, Paris and the stadium? And Endo said, no. There you go. Simple. To the point from Endo. Arne Slot, speaking about Ousmane Dembele, said Luis Enrique did a lot of things really well here. He created in a few transfer windows a team I assume he is quite happy with. Not only in terms of team performance, but individual. The quality Dembele brings is impressive. It's clear that Enrique has done a great job and already in the semis of the Champions League last season. And in my opinion, his team is even better than last season. Speaking about focus, Arne Slot said, my thoughts are on Paris Saint-Germain, then it's Southampton and then PSG again. This week was the first time we had a bit more time. That's definitely a good thing as PSG need all our attention and 2 days wouldn't have been enough to prepare for this team. It's a nice compliment to get, Enrique saying Liverpool are the best team in Europe, but the best team in Europe has to win the Champions League and we are still a long way from that. The best team in Europe at the moment is Real Madrid as they won it last time. Speaking about Cody Gakpo, this is what Arne had to say. He was close to being ready to play again, but unfortunately he had to block a shot and felt pain again. We've taken him to tomorrow to judge. We'll see if he can be part of the squad. It will be a close call. Endo speaking about whether he spoke to Arne Slot about more game time. This is what Endo had to say. Yes, I had conversations with the manager a few times in the season, but he always told me my attitude and what I have done to help the team is always unbelievable. I feel like he trusts me a lot at the moment. I'm happy to be here. I will keep working hard in training and on the pitch as well. He went on to say, it's a little bit tough for me about the lack of game time, that I don't play that much. I always try to help the team. If I have a chance to play, I go all in. That's what I'm always thinking. So there you go. That's my highlights of Arne Slot's pre-PSG press conference. Let me know what you guys think, if there's any subjects there that you want me to go back over. Callum, how am I doing? I'm doing alright, my man, yeah. I'm doing alright. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. A bit nervy, but it seems like you guys are going to dance through past PSV and then it'll be whoever wins the Madrid derby for you. But well done tonight on your, 5-1 up now. Well done. You know, Callum, fair play. You have to go over there and do the job. And if you're Mikel Arteta now, you know that you can make some changes in the second leg as well to rest up. So, you know, job done over in Eindhoven for you guys. And thank you for being with us as a member for 13 months, Callum. Appreciate you. I did say I'd give somebody a shout out at the start of the stream and I forgot to do it. So let me scroll back and apologise to the gent. Where is it gone? Where's the podcast gone? If you're in the chat again, mate, and I haven't given you a shout out, can you just post anything so I can see your full account name again to give you a shout out, my man? I promised I'd do it and I'm a man of my word. So if you can just put a comment in for me, bro, I will make sure that I give you the shout out that I promised. Red Gamer said, nobody can be happy with somebody who's done nothing. Well, to be fair, he did bring in Arne Slot and the backroom staff. We've got to be fair about these things. And he was a big part of that process. So for that, Richard Hughes does get credit. A great decision, a great choice made. Alvarez goal was a corker. Hope they can do a job on rail, said Martin. Can we hire Endo to replace Hughes? Seems a better fit than Hughes, and Endo can just keep playing. It's really interesting to see the evolution of that relationship between Wataru Endo and Arne Slot. There you go. It's Liverpool is Red podcast. Sorry that I forgot to do it at the start of the stream, my man. But in the chat, Liverpool is Red podcast asked could I highlight the channel, give them a bit of a shout out. Happy to do it as always. The more Liverpool content creators, the better. So yes, if you do get a chance and you want more Liverpool content, check out Liverpool is Red podcast on YouTube, and hopefully it'll be to your taste or not. But either way, my man, thank you for letting us know about the podcast, and of course, I'm always happy to shout out my fellow content creators when I get a chance. Johnny Hiding is a very good hire, in my opinion. Yeah, I would agree. I know he's former Everton player and all, but I do like and have liked Johnny Hiding since he's come in. Everton Fan TV, how are you, my friend? He's saying Madrid 2-1. I take it that's Real Madrid 2-1. But yeah, 2-1 Real Madrid, there you go. Thank you for the updates. That's a very interesting tie. And I said to Connor earlier on, and I'm probably mad for saying this, but I'd rather play Real Madrid over two legs in a semi than Atletico Madrid. I could not sit through 180 minutes of Diego Simeone's antics again. I remember the last time we played them, and it was, oh God, it was a grind just even sitting through and looking at the time wasting and the antics and the rolling around. I think I'd rather play Real Madrid. At least it'll be more glamorous in the semi-final. But, of course, Arsenal may have something to say about that as well. Arsenal might think, well, hang on a minute here. You'll be playing us, in which case, bring it on. It looks almost guaranteed now as well, unless there's a huge collapse by Aston Villa, that whoever wins between us and Paris Saint-Germain will be playing Villa in the quarters. And remember, Villa will be at home for the second leg of the quarter-final, whoever goes through between us and PSG. Callum said, delighted with the result tonight. I think you'll be fine against PSG due to the second leg at Anfield. I think it'll be 2-2 in Paris and 2-0 at Anfield. I think 1-1 and then 2-1. I think we'll just about squeak through by one goal, but I do think we'll get through. And then genuinely, I'm intrigued by the idea of a quarter-final against Aston Villa. I usually don't like playing English teams in Europe, but we've no choice now. It could very well be English club in the quarter, and if Arsenal can get through, maybe an English club in the semi or one of the Madrid teams. Craig, if we play Madrid again, do you want to start Trent or Connor? Depends on the situation with the contract, Mukarab. If Trent has signed a new deal and is staying at Liverpool, then I'd have no problem playing Trent. If Trent hasn't made up his mind yet, or is going to Madrid, then I'd be going for Conor Bradley. That's my honest answer as a fan. I don't know how other people feel about it, but if Trent's future was up in the air, I wouldn't feel comfortable putting him into the game personally, but others may think differently. Bruno said, yep, you're crazy for saying that. It doesn't matter how irritating Simeone and his antics are, there's nothing worse than face Madrid in the Champions League. Well, we know one thing. If we're going to win the Champions League this season, there's a pathway that either flows through Madrid or London in the semis. So probably going to have to take care of them at some point if they do get through. And the second leg at the Wanda Metropolitano will be an interesting second leg of the last 16 tie. Can I go over the KERKEZ news, Craig? I will. Haven't got to it yet, my man. Don't worry. So I'm waiting for everyone. Normally we'll get a pile in after the Champions League games finish. Usually people come back in then and we have bigger numbers towards the end of the stream. But I'll happily fly through for you really quickly. Bear with me. So, where is it? There he is. So, Alex Crook has said Liverpool are set to make a move to sign Milos KERKEZ. Not that we're interested in, not that we're monitoring. Go as far to say that Liverpool are expected to make a move to sign Milos KERKEZ. Now, I've said all the way through, be more than happy if that was the case. But again, I see lots of figures mentioning about 40 million. I think the number's going to be 10 million higher than that. But it seems like he's certainly up there as a target. And, you know, Alex Crook said we're going to make the bid. Cool. Let's wait and see. But I find it difficult to believe that we'll be able to get him and Huijsen out of Bournemouth. I don't know if they're going to be up for that now, to be honest with you, because they could very well have a place in a European competition next season, and they're not going to start to want to rip apart their squad. So as much as Liverpool can maybe splash the cash and put it down on the table, I don't know if they'd be open to selling Huijsen and KERKEZ in the same window. You know, you wouldn't be happy about that if you were a Bournemouth fan. Just got done roofing for the day, Craig, and now I can finally lock into the live. Hope your day's going well. Day's going good, thank you, Austin. And I hope you're keeping safe up there doing roofing. You're a better man than me. No way you get me up on a roof, bro. I'm petrified of heights. So yeah, no way, man. But well done. Huijsen has a 50 million release clause, I think. Oh, cool. That'll be interesting. I don't know if he does or doesn't have a release clause, to be honest with you. But if he does, fair enough. That would make it relatively straightforward then, if you wanted to trigger that. But again, we need to keep in mind, talking about release clauses, a lot of the time they're in one lump sum up front. And you couldn't be doing that if you wanted to start buying out 3 or 4 players. It becomes a very expensive prospect because you can't stagger the payments. You could, of course, take out a loan to go and pay, to buy out release clauses and pay the loan back over the course of whatever way you'd amortise the deals, normally 4 or 5 years. Craig's number one fad said, finished the documentary today and cried my eyes out, was so emotional. Yeah, I still haven't been able to get the time to sit down and watch all the episodes back to back, so I haven't started it yet. I'm playing catch up on so many things though. So let's talk about Hugo Larsson, if I might, for a few minutes. Florian Plettenberg, so take it with a pinch of salt, has said Liverpool are one of the clubs monitoring Frankfurt midfielder Hugo Larsson. Lads, I need your help here. I know very little about Hugo Larsson. I think he's 20 or 21. I know he's a midfielder. That's it. I know he's Swedish, actually. That's all I know about him. So, thoughts? You know, is he good enough? You know, I know nothing about him. I don't even know if we really need a midfielder now as well, because we need to see what happens with Stefan, but it's an intriguing one. I want to move on tonight from my late video, so keep an eye out. I'm going to be talking about Hugo Ekitike in the late video that comes out about 10:45. So stick with me later on if you want to know a little bit of information around the Ekitike situation. Check out the late video we're putting out tonight. Mark Bell said, I'd prefer to get KERKEZ and go for a better centre-back than Huijsen. I think Huijsen would be a great addition, personally, Mark. I know he probably isn't one that we would look at and think he's definitely ready for the here and now. But in my mind, I'm thinking you bring him in, you keep Virgil for 2 years minimum, and then you have him, Kanade, you've got Jarell Kwanzaa, and you've got Huijsen. And that would give you the ability to let Huijsen develop over the next year or two, rotating him in where possible. And then I think you'll see the calibre of the lad. Because remember, he's only 19, I think. And certainly doesn't look to have fully filled out and be strong enough just yet. But I would take him in a heartbeat. I would. Him. I agree with Robbie Fowler about Van de Ven as well. But I think those injury concerns would be a little bit too worrying. And of course, then you'd have to try and prize him away from Spurs as well. We had the chance to sign Mickey Van de Ven when he was at Wolfsburg, and we didn't do it. Jumpers for Goal Post said, looks like a double deal of Gordon and Isak and KERKEZ and Huijsen. I mean, I'd be pretty happy, Liverpool fan, mate, if that was the window. I'm not going to lie to you. Yeah, I wouldn't say no. If you offered me those 4 players right now, to sell Costas, Darwin. You know, I take it Diaz is going to be sold in people's thoughts if we're talking about Gordon. I'd take that. That'd be a very, very good window. I'd even take that if you got rid of Isak and put in Sesko or Cunha. That would be a brilliant window. Don't know how everybody else feels, but I'd bite your hand off for that right now. But it would have to be under the guise of the contracts getting sorted out as well. Right, so we asked a while ago, are you happy with Richard Hughes' work so far? If you haven't voted, please do. We've had just over 500 votes, so we'll leave it running a bit longer. But we just want to know, are you happy with what he's done so far? Now, it's easy to say he's done nothing, but of course, I need to try and be fair about this. He has brought in the manager. He has negotiated the contracts for all the backup staff, Johnny Heidinger, Sipko Hulshoff. So to say he's done nothing would be unfair. To say he's done fuck all since the summer, I think is probably a little bit closer to the truth, in my opinion. Till Sheen said, Huysen needs to improve his aerial duels. Will come when he fills out his body. Yeah, you're not going to be a centre-back at Liverpool unless you're aerially dominant. If you look at Canate and Virgil, you'd have to say Virgil in particular is just incredible at aerial duels. And I agree with what you've said there. I would like to see more strength from Huysen and other aspects of his game as well. But like, he shouldn't be fully developed at 19. You know, let's be honest about that. He shouldn't be. He's younger than Jarell Kwanzaa, and we still talk about Kwanzaa as a baby in centre-back terms. Right, Major Zero, thank you, sir, for your super chat. Said, who would you bring in immediately? In an ideal world, I think what our friend said a minute ago was pretty close for me. Anthony Gordon is a name that hasn't gone away, but I'm not really sold on the idea of it being possible. But let's wait and see. But I take it. I take Diaz gone and him in. Núñez out and Isak in. Núñez out and Cunha in. Núñez out and Sesko in. Any of those would work for me. And Huysen and KERKEZ would be my first two choices for left back and centre back as well. So yeah, I'd be happy with that window. That would be, yeah, I'd have no complaints. That done. Salah contract extended. Virgil's contract extended. And clearing up of the goalkeeper situation. And I'd be a happy fan. Actually, on the goalkeeper situation, let's talk for a minute about Alisson Becker. Very positive stuff here coming from Anfield Watch. They say that Alisson Becker is very happy at Liverpool despite interests from various other clubs. Good. I don't want Alisson going anywhere. I love the idea of him and Mamardashvili battling it out next season. You know, because if you want to come in and be Liverpool's number one, well then you got to get past Alisson Becker. So I've no problem if that's the outcome. In fact, I'd be buzzing if that was the outcome. Yeah. So good. I hope Alisson doesn't want to go anywhere. I know he said maybe a move back to Brazil when his contract is up in 2 years' time. But I guess the question is going to be, if you're Liverpool, do you allow another player like Alisson Becker to leave for free in 2027? Or do you look to maybe cash in now and supplement the transfer budget? It's a difficult balancing act, I'm sure, but it's easy for us to say let Alisson go in 2 years' time. But in 2 years' time, if we're talking about Alisson going for free and we're struggling to get transfer money at that point, these are the things that I guess can come back to bite you in the arse. Anyone have pancakes today? Not yet, but I will later on. Definitely. Got my maple syrup, got my cream, ready to go. Larson reminds me of a young Stevie G, said Copster73. Nice. Yeah, I haven't watched them, so to see them being linked is interesting, but I haven't watched them. We spoke last night as well about Benjamin Sesko's release clause. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the late night news roundup last night, but we spoke about Sesko's release clause in that. And it's interesting because at the minute the clause is up at about €75 million from Because the way it's done, it started at €60 million, but depending on what happened with this season with goals and assists, his price went up. So far, if anybody wants to buy him in the summer, the release clause sits at about €75 million or £62 million. Apparently, it goes up as high as about £66 million or €80 million if all of his clauses are triggered. For a 21-year-old striker, that seems reasonable enough to me. What's this Mark said? The officials for the Carabao Cup final have been announced. So, referee will be John Brooks. Fourth official, Darren England. VAR, Stuart Atwell. Fuck me. And the officials for the Southampton game, referee, Lewis Smith. Assistants, Matt Wilkes. Mark Perry. Fourth official, Tony Harrington. VAR, Matt Donoghue. Assistant VAR, Derek Eaton. I never like to see Atwell's name listed on VAR when we're involved. It always makes me nervous, but they are the officials. Oh, Mark said it's Dortmund 1, Lille 1. Interesting. Any of our players can be sold to Saudi when their form massively drops off. I think that's a very simplified statement. A player has to be willing to make that move as well. And Alisson's seemingly said he wants to go back to Brazil at that point. So, yeah, can't just say, oh, well, Saudi want them, sell them. It's up to the player to decide that one as well. Jester said, is it just me worried Arsenal shipped 5 past PSV? Feels like that give them confidence to chase us down. No, you're overthinking it in my eyes. You know, we lost to PSV with a very changed team. Like a really changed team. And Arsenal can get as much hope or ambition as they want from it. And look, they've every right to be happy with that result because it's a great result in Europe away from home. But it's not going to change that in the Premier League. We are going to dance to that Premier League title. Will be another game closer to it after the weekend against Southampton. You'd have to say, you know, you'd fancy us to be beating Southampton at home. So, you know, that'll mean we're 10 games out, 13 points clear, maybe 10 points clear if they win their game in hand. And they still need us to lose 4 games out of those 10. I know one of them is against Arsenal, but I just don't see it happening. I really just, there's no way. Did you see that Michael Oliver apparently isn't officiating this weekend? Yep, that's correct, Toes. That was confirmed. He is no game this weekend. Look, it's about time that this narrative of him being the best in England gets questioned. I keep seeing it spouted by every journalist on Sky Sports or anywhere else. Once upon a time he was the best in England, but he's living off that reputation now. You know, this isn't an anti-Liverpool thing. Ask any football fan in the Prem their opinions on Michael Oliver, and I would guess that most of them think he's gone downhill over the past few years, and you know, that's the fairest I can be about it. I'm not trying to say he's done anything dodgy. I just think he's not as good a referee as he once was. Could Liverpool be waiting to find out what happens to Man City before agreeing to contracts? I mean, I don't see the correlation myself, Ken, but yeah, it's not something I've seen mentioned anywhere. I mean, look, you'd have to say, as us being fans, we can't rule in or out anything because we aren't privy to what's going on. But I just grow tired of hearing Liverpool want to get these done, Liverpool hope to get these done, but yet Liverpool are nowhere near actually getting them done. That's the black and white of it for me. Did I get my email about the chair? Did I not respond to that one, Keith? I swear I did. I'd bet my life I responded to that email about the chair, mate. Let me check right now. 1 second. I'm going to go through our emails to see if I sent it back to you. 1 second, mate. Yeah. No, it was somebody else who asked me. Jamie asked me about the chair. It was Jamie I'd responded to. Did I get your email? No. Nope. No email there, mate. In my inbox anyway about the chair. If you sent it to partnerships, I don't get those emails, but I did respond to Jamie about the chair. Maybe wait until 1st of April, start of the tax year. I mean, look, we've played this game, SG, of waiting for January, waiting for the end of the transfer window, waiting for... Ultimately, it's a piss take. And waiting for January... I mean, you could negotiate it now and say it comes into effect on the 1st of January. You know, waiting for then doesn't really make any sense to me. You know, if you wanted it to fall into the new tax year, then just say, right, we've agreed these extensions. It comes into effect on the 1st of April. So, yeah, I think, again, an easy way around that if that was potentially one of the stumbling blocks. Don't want Kimmich. Well, apparently Till Sheen, we were offered him and said no. That was one of the reports from the other day. I don't know if I have... just checking my notes. Bear with me, mate. I'm just checking my notes. No, it wasn't that one. Don't seem to have it to hand at the minute, sorry. There was a story the other day, and I can't remember who it was from, that said Liverpool were offered him, but turned down the opportunity. So, let's wait and see. 6-1 Arsenal now. Wow. Fair play to them. You know, credit where it's due. That's a great result away in Europe. And that will mean that Mikel Arteta can pretty much rest up a load of players for the second leg at the Emirates because they're through. So, fair play. That's what you want. That's the ideal scenario, right? When you go away in Europe. Or you play the first leg in Europe, kill it off, and to do it away from home. You know, for me to sit here and say anything other than well done, you know, I'd be just being an asshole. So, yeah, well done. Well done to Villa as well. 3-1 away against Bruges. Rachel said, I agree with Robbie Fowler. About what? If you're talking about the two contracts, it's already been proven that that's not true. So... if you agree with Robbie Fowler, you're agreeing in a hypothesis that's already been rubbished. And it's not me or a journalist rubbishing it. The players have said there's no truth to the contracts haven't been agreed. So it was a theory from Robbie Fowler, but it doesn't look like it's a true one. And again, I don't know, maybe you're talking about something else, Rachel, but if that is it, then yeah, it isn't true. All good, Rachel, all good. I'm just letting you know. I would have loved it to have been the case. I wouldn't have understood it now, because I never understood not announcing two because you're worried about the third. But you know, look, I love that people are trying to find rational reasons why maybe it hasn't been done. That shows your class as people. But yeah, I'm just struggling to keep making excuses as to why Hughes hasn't got his finger out. What's this one? Oh, here we go. Thank you, Mark. Mark sent me on the tweet. Transfer News Live posted say Joshua Kimmich was offered to Real Madrid and Liverpool through intermediaries, but both clubs declined. Thank you, Mark, for sending that on to me. And I can understand it as well. Like, Joshua Kimmich could be a fine player, but you're talking a very, very high wage for somebody with no sell-on in the future. And it would be very difficult to justify giving him Virgil van Dijk money, which is what he'd want. That's why it never really seemed possible. But a very good player, of course, who can play in multiple positions. Keith, you said you didn't get it. You didn't get what? If you're talking about the email, I said I'd email a guy called Jamie, but I didn't get any email from you to my email address anyway, mate, with any questions about the chair. But it's no problem. Just whack me through another one, Keith, and I'll send you the link on the stream. It's contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. Contact@AnfieldAgenda.com. Let me just check the junk folder just in case it's in there, my man. 1 second. Nope. Not even in the junk folder, mate. So I don't know where it went, but I didn't get it. So maybe it's gone to another email address or something. I don't know. But send it through to me and no problem. I'll send you on the link for the chair straight away. You send it to partners. That's Connor's one. Sorry, man. Connor deals with the partnerships emails. I deal with the contact at one. So Connor never responds to people. He's not me. You know, I'm the nice guy here. Connor's the very much, I'm a busy man. And he is, to be fair, because I make sure he's busy. But yeah, I'd be the one that does the replying most of the time. What else we got? Could go the other way and Arsenal could go all out for the Champions League. Well, they have to. It's their only chance of trophy this season. You know, it is shit or get off the pot for Arteta and Arsenal in the Champions League. But let me say this, and I'll repeat what I said last night. If Arsenal win the Champions League, you won't hear a peep from me about them not deserving it, because you will have beaten either Liverpool or Villa. You will have beaten one of the two Madrid clubs, and you will have absolutely earned your right in that final against probably Barcelona or Inter Milan. So if Arsenal win the Champions League, and I don't think they will, but if they do, it'll be a great achievement, and they'll have done it the hard way, because our side of the draw is the more difficult side. I'm watching the Madrid derby and I'm scared if we get them in the semi-final. Why? What are you scared of? You know, it is what it is. Champions League semi-final, regardless of who you play, is going to be a difficult task. Just know that the second leg will be at Anfield. That makes me feel a little bit better about it. But look, Madrid have had a number in the Champions League knockouts and finals, you know, but I don't know. I wouldn't be scared. It's going to be a tough game, of course it is, but for me, Liverpool deservedly are spoken about as one of the best teams in Europe. So yeah, if you're in a Champions League semi-final, you know, it should be difficult. So let's just wait and see. We're jumping too far ahead. We can't really look past Paris Saint-Germain yet, because that needs to be our focus for the next week. I know we beat them at Anfield, Scotty, but to be fair, we beat them at Anfield at a time where they weren't great, and it was at Anfield. But that being said, it's still always great to beat Real Madrid at any point, and it's not like they were without loads of great players. We beat them fair and square on the night, and I'm sure the players will take some confidence from that. But Madrid feel like a different animal when it comes out into the knockout stages of the Champions League. K-Days, how are you, my friend? Said, as a Liverpool fan, Craig, do you think Arsenal will be more than capable of having a good run in the Champions League? Well, look, you're in the quarters now, Arsenal fans. You know, there's no denying that after the whooping that you gave PSV tonight. So, I struggle to see a world where they get past, let's say, Real Madrid and Liverpool. I can't see a world where they do that. And also Arsenal will have the second leg of their semi-final away from home. So, yeah, no, I just don't see it. I wouldn't be putting any money on Arsenal to win the Champions League, in all honesty. But if they do, like I said a moment ago, it'll be very well earned. The quarterfinal against Villa, or, you know, unless they collapse against Bruges, that's I'm nervy about that if we get there, because the second leg would be at Villa Park. So you'd want to make sure you take somewhat of a lead to Villa Park for the second leg. Can you imagine the atmosphere under the lights of Villa Park? Second leg, semi or quarter final. It would be it'd be an interesting one. But I'd still fancy us to beat them as well. You think there'll ever be somebody more famous than MJ in our lifetime? I take it you're talking about Michael Jackson there. Yeah, there were already people more famous than Michael Jackson. Don't be afraid. Other teams are afraid of our side. Make no mistake about that. Absolutely. PFB has been horrendous since New Year. Yeah, I was watching something with a Dutch journalist yesterday saying that PSV are conceding goals left, right and centre. But look, it doesn't matter. You still have to credit Arsenal, because any victory of that level away from home in Europe in a knockout stage deserves credit. And Arsenal deserve credit for that win. As do Aston Villa. To go over to Club Brugge, who are no mugs, and beat them by 3-1. They deserve their credit for that. The Villa fan said, great victory today. Don't care how we win it, but looking forward to a game versus Liverpool. We seem to give you a good game. Yeah, look, it'd be a really interesting tie. But, you know, you've pretty much done your part. We have 2 legs to go against a difficult side. So I'm not really looking too far ahead yet. But full credit to yourselves and Arsenal for the wins today. I'm not somebody who comes on and says that teams are, you know, I don't just banter teams for the sake of it. I give credit where it's due, and both sides deserve credit. Who's more famous than MJ apart from Salah? The Pope, Barack Obama. I don't know, mate. I could probably name 25. It depends. Like, there are people, let's say in Asia, that we've probably never heard of that could have hundreds of millions of fans. So I also don't really care as well about Michael Jackson, to be honest with you. How the hell is Hughes going to bring in players in a transfer window when he can't sort out the contracts? Said Stevie Boy. It's kind of one of my concerns as well, mate. You know, we're leaving ourselves a lot to do between now the end of the season and the summer transfer window. A lot to do with incomings, outgoings and contract renewals. At least 5 or 6 different contract renewals on the table. So that's why we asked the question tonight. Are you happy with the work Richard Hughes has done so far? We're closing in on 800 votes, so we might as well end it there. And 85% of people said they aren't happy. 15% of people said they are. What else we got? The Villa fan said, I think PSG will be tough considering their second most informed side. But have you looked at who they've played? You know, they battered some side in the French Cup 7-0 or something. They beat Brest handily enough in the Champions League. But there's a big difference between those sides and playing Liverpool over 2 legs. So let's wait and see. I'm not scared of them at all. Respectful, but not scared of them. Mate, I'm American. Obama is not more important than Michael Jackson. It's the most. I don't give a fuck about Michael Jackson or whoever is more famous. Can I be more blank about that? I don't care if Michael Jackson is more famous. I'm more concerned about whether he touched up a load of kids or not, to be honest with you. So I don't give a shite about Michael Jackson. The man's dead and gone. His music will live forever. Whether he's famous or not, I couldn't give a shite. Elvis, by the way, the Beatles. The Beatles would be up there. Elvis would be up there. I could probably go on. But either way, I don't care. I really couldn't give a shite. Ryan said Lewis Hall out of the cup final. Confirmed. Oh, 7 now for Arsenal. That is mad. 7-1. Wow. That's, you know what? Give them the flowers. That's an incredible scoreline. But watch. Watch the reaction now. That's the funny part. It's going to be the reaction from the Arsenal fans now. It'll be all of a sudden now they're the best team that's ever graced the football pitch. Watch. I like that point from Ukrab said, that's the point, you're American, you think the world is the same as you. It's a fair point, you know, but I think we can all be rather insular in our own environments, you know. Over here in Europe, as an example, we probably have a lot of things that we like or are famous that maybe wouldn't go over to the United States or, as you've said, subcontinent or in Asia. There'd be a load of people, like, look at K-pop and stuff like that, you know. We are all very insular in our own little bubbles in our own countries and stuff, but ultimately, look, if I could have 1% of the money that Michael Jackson or any of these people earned over their careers, I'd be a very, very, very happy man. Granted, Jordan, fair enough, mate, but I'm just trying to say to you, I don't care how famous Jackson is or not, mate. It's not on my list of priorities for a stream this evening, but I get you, my man, I get you. That's going to give them some confidence that no. Yeah, confidence, but what are you going to do about it? Do you know, to quote McGregor here, you'll do nothing, which is what Arsenal are going to do. They can have as much confidence as they want. Their confidence can't impact their results, so they can have as much confidence as they want. It's still not going to change the fact they're 13 points behind us in the league table with a game in hand. So, you know, you can win 7-1, 10-1, 100-1. It's still not going to make up those points. Josh, how are you, mate? Lovely to see you in again, bro. So yeah, Mark, we covered that Lewis Hall thing. That's another one. Like, Newcastle must be cursing their luck at the minute. So Anthony Gordon suspended for the cup final. Lewis Hall now confirmed out for the cup final. They must be cursing their luck at the minute. Because Lewis Hall, I thought, was very good up against Mohamed Salah when we played them. I thought he kept Salah as quiet as he could. So yeah, it's interesting. It's going to be a very interesting final, and I don't want to get too confident about it because, you know, it's a one-off occasion and anything can happen, but you'd have to at least acknowledge that we'd be favourites going into that final. If Isak gets injured between now and then or feels something or isn't able to play, that I just can't see any world then that Newcastle could figure it out unless they defend for their lives and get something from a set piece or something. But, you know, no matter who you play in the final, even going in there against the championship side, or I always feel nervous because it's a final. A Downs, how are you, my friend? Said, well, Craig, great to catch the stream. Just wondering what's the path for Liverpool if we beat PSG and then Villa. It'll be the winner of the Arsenal or Madrid clubs. So the bracket is like this. We're at the top of it against PSG. Next down on the bracket is Club Brugge and Aston Villa. Then the winner of those two go on. On the bottom half, it's Real and Atleti, and then Arsenal PSV. Arsenal are going to progress through there. And then it'll be the winner of the Madrid tie. So for us, the first time we could play Arsenal or Madrid there will be, or the next time, is the semi-final. On the other side of the bracket then, you'd imagine you're probably going to see Inter Milan and Barcelona go through if it all goes to form. I know, bro, but I can't stop being stressed. Too much happened in the past. But answer me this question, Guillermo, right? And I'm trying to help you here. Now have a go with you. So hear me out. You've said you can't help it. What's happened in the past has hurt you. Fair enough. I can totally get that. But you can do nothing to change that. No matter how much your desire is, your want is, how much you dissect it, how much you think about it. What's happened has happened. There's no change in it. There's no making it better. It's done, it's boxed off, and it's gone. So all we can do is look at the here and now and look at what might potentially happen soon and go off what we're doing right now. It's like saying, I think we'll win the European Cup because we won it in the 70s or we won it in 2005. It doesn't have any relevance to the here and now. It's a different manager with a different set of tactics, different coaching staff against a different opponent. So I would look at that situation and go, the desire of the players is probably going to be increased to make sure they don't let that happen again. They remember what it was like losing to Real Madrid in that final, and they don't want to feel that again. They remember what Paris was like. They don't want to feel that again. That's the way I look at these things. And I would actually consider myself a rather cynical person most of the time in life. PSV went for it. That was their mistake. Well, they kind of had to, right? They're at home. You know, you wouldn't imagine if you're PSV, you're thinking a draw will take that to the Emirates. They went for it. They got outgunned, you know, and give Arsenal their credit. I know Arsenal don't like to dish out credit, but, you know, we're good folks over here at Anfield Agenda, and I'm happy to give Villa and Arsenal the credit they deserve for the good wins. Alan Jones, man, thank you. Really appreciate you. Right, ladies and gents, let me just remind you, we are currently on sale for our end of season party at the Hot Water Comedy Club. You can get your tickets with a link pinned to the top of the chat or in the description of this stream. Tickets are priced at just £20 plus booking fee. I think it works out about £22 a ticket with the booking fee. And it's an all ages event. As long as you don't mind a little bit of swearing, we're all good to go. And we hope to see you there on the 28th of May for what is going to be our biggest and our most upbeat Anfield Agenda live show ever. Celebrating a few days after we will have been given the Premier League title. 3 days later, we're going to be in Liverpool. Hopefully, we can have an eye on the Champions League final later that week as well. But I'm so excited to get back over and catch up with everyone in Liverpool. Been really impressed with the ticket sale so far. We've done about 40% of the initial room. In fact, they've moved us up a step to a bigger room now. So we have the ability to sell more and move up again, I think. So, yeah, thank you to everyone that's bought tickets so far. It's going to be brilliant. I can't wait. And also, as always, after the show, we'll make sure we stick around for any photos or a quick chat with everybody if that's what they'd like as well. And last thing, don't forget to check out AnfieldAgendaShop.com if you would like to get yourself a Where's the Money John hoodie, t-shirt, no Nulon, no party t-shirt, or an Anfield Agenda mug. If you're a member, you get 10% off. You can get that code under the membership tab on the YouTube channel. Val Arsenal said, full respect, Craig. I want to let you know over the two legs I think you'll beat PSG, and I've got full respect for Liverpool. Thank you, Val. Look, it's a tough ask. You know, certainly feels like we weren't exactly rewarded for finishing top of the Champions League format, but it is what it is. And if we want to win this Champions League, we should be looking at dealing with clubs like Paris Saint-Germain. So let's wait and see what happens. Guillermo, always a pleasure, my man. I'll try to keep you upbeat as possible, mate. Look, there's a lot of stuff I am negative about. You know, I'm moany about the owners. I'm moany about the transfer situation. But I can't be anything other than pleased with what we're seeing on the pitch. You know, and I'm always optimistic in that regard because we've got a very capable group of players and a very capable coach. Brian said, Madrid are so feckin' annoying. Just know we'll get them in the semis. Play them off the park and still lose. Oh. Do you know what, though? If you offered me a semi-final right now and said it was going to be against Madrid, I'd still bite your hand off for it. Because it's still a Champions League semi-final at the end of the day. And we still have a show and a chance. So I'd still take it. But, you know, right now, we don't have the right to talk about semi-finals or anything because we've a very tough last 16 tie to go. Right, so, more news to get through. We already said, by the way, happy birthday to King Kenny. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Mr. King Kenny Dalglish. Matt Hardy Sport, and Anfield Sector posted this, said, Newcastle United intend to hold discussions with Alexander Isak about his future in the summer, but that will not guarantee they will not guarantee the in-demand striker stays at the club. Liverpool are one of the interested clubs. That's interesting. Newcastle, as we know, have had difficult windows where they've had to make some difficult discussions. And sometimes you do need to take a step backwards to take 2 steps forwards. Look at us selling Coutinho. Prime example. Use the money well, rebuild, go again. So it's going to be really intriguing to see how big of a play we do make, if we make any, for Isak in this summer window. Our hand would certainly be strengthened if Newcastle don't get Champions League football. I think then you've not only got the fact that financially they may need to do something, but you'll have a player who will have been a couple of seasons out of the Champions League, playing incredibly well, and can justifiably say, I want Champions League football. Mukarab said you moan about the right stuff though. Do you know what, man? That means a lot, my friend. I know last night we had a little button of heads, but we sorted it out, and I appreciate that because I try to strategically do that, you know. I don't want to come across as that moany guy all the time, but when I do moan about something, I usually do feel like, yeah, I've at least got a reasonable footing to moan about it. Nimnoy, lovely to see you back at Anfield Agenda FC, my friend. Appreciate your support. Thank you. Okay, one sec. Right, so everybody who's joined us after the Champions League games, what are your takeaways from tonight, and how did the Madrid derby look? Because I didn't get a chance to watch it. Did it finish up 2-1? That's a really... If it did finish 2-1, and I didn't see any other updates in the chat, so I assume it did, that's a very intriguing tie. Second leg to come at the Wanda Metropolitano. You wouldn't rule it Letty out of that, but you'd say definitely advantage Real. Arsenal are done. They're won. Fair play. 7-1's incredible victory. And then you've got Aston Villa going over to Club Brugge and beating them by 3-1. Did anybody watch the Villa game? And if you did, let me know your thoughts on that left back I was telling you about, Maxime de Kuiper. Scored for Bruges today, I believe, in their loss. But let me know what you thought of him if you watched. Power said we have to win tomorrow or at least draw. I would certainly say I'd want at least a draw. I'd say I'd agree with you on that, my man. Yeah, I think a draw would be the minimum we should be looking to do there tomorrow, but nothing stupid is probably the clearest I can be. Make sure that we have a chance to come back to Anfield. You know, if you lose, make sure you lose by no more than 1. But either way, yeah, I'm with you. Garrett said brilliant crossing ability. LFC said really good player. I think he's been linked with a move to AC Milan and a few other clubs. I've not really seen him linked to Liverpool at all, but he's a player that I would have always put into my list if we were talking about left backs that Liverpool should be looking at. You know, no problems with KERKEZ, great reasons to look at him. Hato, same thing, but I would have always thrown the Kuiper into that. Now he's a little bit older. I think he's 24. Joshua said Villa's second goal shouldn't have stood. In his opinion, there was a shirt pull in the build-up. I didn't see any of it, mate. I haven't seen any of the football today at all. Been quite busy in the family life, getting a few things sorted. Pasky said Madrid game was good. Weirdly, I didn't see Simeone go all-out attack. I actually think Atleti beat Madrid in the second leg. Kathy, how are you, Kathy? Said, I'm going to avoid all Arsenal YouTube channels. They will be going around claiming they have won the Champions League. I mean, I get where you're coming from, but, you know, they've every right to be happy, in fairness. Like, I think the rational ones like Lee Gunner will understand that, yes, that's booked their passageway through to the quarter-final, but, you know, there's a long way still to go. And like I said earlier on, Kathy, if they win it, they'll have done it the hard way, so they'll have earned it. They'll have beaten one of the Madrid clubs. They'll have beaten either us or Villa or PSG, and then they'll have won the final. So if they do win it and go all the way, you know, they've done it. They've had a hard enough route through, so they deserve that credit, but I don't think they will. You can't celebrate a 7-1 win anymore. Hey, Alex, I've done nothing here tonight but give credit to Villa and Arsenal, and I don't see how you couldn't. You know, they're 2 impressive results away from home. Lucas Zakaria said, if Madrid signs Trent, they definitely want Canade as well to cover his back when Trent goes on attack. Yeah, look, it makes me nervous seeing Ibrahima Konate linked with moves away, because we shouldn't be in a position where his contract is still up in the air. Nor should we be in that position with the other three. But there's no rational reason to not get Konate sorted out. You know, age-wise, he's still really young and a huge contributor to the team and the success we're having. Loves the club, is loved by the fans. Hasn't really had too many injury concerns this season. I just feel like we're leaving ourselves a lot of work to do, and we could be boxing these things off sooner. Lorcan said, can you give me some transfer updates? I have a couple of bits of news held back for the stream, or the video, excuse me, coming up at about 11, but I will happily go through some of the other news for you today so far, my man. So, I guess the main points today so far are that Liverpool are set to make a move to sign Milos KERKEZ from Bournemouth, according to Alex Crook. Then there was Liverpool are one of the clubs interested in Jamie Bino Gittins, who is likely to leave Dortmund in the summer. But here's the part where it all falls apart for me. Dortmund want €100 million, but it is considered unrealistic, and rightly so, because Bino Gittins is a talent, but €100 million, he's not a €100 million player yet. Absolutely no way. So I'd struggle to believe we'd be a buyer even anywhere near that. Then Florian Plettenberg said Liverpool are among the clubs monitoring Frankfurt midfielder Hugo Larsson. I don't know anything about Hugo Larsson, to be honest. We got the information around what exactly it was that Arne Slot and Sipke Hulshoff said to the assistant referees and to Michael Oliver. I'm going to read this out as Anfield Talk have written it. They say Arne Slot told Michael Oliver after the game against Everton that he'd feckin' given them everything. Didn't say the word feckin', but you get me. And hopes he was proud of his performance. He also said, if we don't win the league, I'll be effing blaming you. Which, by the way, Arne Slot corrected and said he didn't say that. He said, if we don't win the league, it'll be your fault, or something along those lines. Sipke Hulshoff, the assistant to Arne, said effing shit and effing disgrace, and you gave them effing everything. So that's where the 70 grand fine comes from. But one interesting story that I did see was that if Liverpool and Arne hadn't accepted those charges, it could have been a 3-game ban and £100,000 fine, which would have meant no League Cup final for Arne, which would have been shit, to be honest. A story that caught my eye today comes from the Daily Mirror, and I'm sure a lot of you guys already know about this, but I couldn't believe this. Lyon boss Paulo Fonseca risks a 7-month ban after trying to headbutt a referee seeking to watch the VAR screen during a Ligue 1 clash. That's not a headline you expect to read every day. Paulo Fonseca risks a 7-month ban after trying to headbutt a referee seeking to watch the VAR screen. I mean, Arne got a 2-game touchline ban and a 70 grand fine there for a few swear words at Michael Oliver and the refs. I mean, where do you go with that? I mean, you can't justify that. You have to rightly call that out. That's disgraceful behaviour. You can't be putting your head up to a ref. That's like, as much as I dislike a lot of refereeing decisions, that cannot. The book should be thrown at him for that. That's unacceptable in the game. You can't be having that. King Winter Soldier, how are you, my man? Welcome in. It's mad though. Like I couldn't believe what I was reading when I seen it. So another story we talked about was, according to La Parisienne Sport, Ibrahima Konate is waiting until the end of the season before making a decision on his future. He's been linked with Real Madrid in that same piece from La Parisienne, and we know also there's serious interest in him from Paris Saint-Germain. So much so that Wataru Endo was asked by a journalist today if he's been speaking to Konate about PSG, Paris and the stadium, to which Endo said no. And why would he? He's at a far better, bigger club than Paris Saint-Germain. Then we had João Neves saying, they, Liverpool, have a lot of individual quality, but as a team, we are better. I don't know how he's come to that conclusion. I really don't, but I guess we're going to find out over the next 2 games. I very much disagree. I think Liverpool are better in every metric, and will be better over the 2 legs, but there you go. Also, from Anfield Watch, they say Alisson Becker is very happy at Liverpool despite interest from various other clubs. So, actually, on Anfield Watch, I want to just talk about something really quickly for a second. So, Anfield Watch had previously been under a different name, and there were some accusations towards them that they were had a relationship with that rag of a newspaper whose name we shan't mention. But I just want to clear something up, because having spoken with the guys at Anfield Watch and having spoken with Ben Bochak, they're owned by a media company in another country that has absolutely nothing to do with any of the previous ownership whatsoever. So I like to be fair and balanced when I talk about these things, and I think we just need to put that out there as well, that they aren't the old ownership group. They've been taken over and they're owned by, I don't want to say exactly who, because I don't know what's public domain and what isn't, but they're owned by a company in Europe that took them over. So no previous links there before, so hence the reason why I wanted to just bring that one up. So we've got confirmation now from Sky Sports that Newcastle will not appeal Anthony Gordon's red card against Brighton, and that means the winger will miss the next 3 matches, including the Carabao Cup final this week or next weekend, excuse me. And thank you, Mark, for that one. So no Anthony Gordon, no Lewis Hall. I mean, got to have some confidence going into this one, Reds. Boeing Zippity said probably drugs and alcohol, Craig. What would that be in relation to, mate? Sorry, I'm confused. But yeah, well, I don't know what that was in relation to. I thought you were talking about one of my weekends there for a minute. Chris Chan said, I'm a bit bored of the talk, we need action. Yes, sir. I'm very much in agreement with you on that one, my man. Oh, Fonseca. Oh, I don't know. Maybe he just seen the red mist and yeah, got angry. But you can't condone it. You just can't. You know, you hope that he gets a severe punishment, because you can't be putting your head into a referee's head. Like, you can't be stitching somebody. Like, what happened to Hall? Injured. He was sent to see a specialist. We sort of covered a bit yesterday. Let me scroll back for you. So there was, Eddie Howe revealed that Lewis Hall did go to see a specialist over an injury concern he had. There was still no timescale put for his recovery, but he has apparently been ruled out of the League Cup final. So yeah, there you go. And look, that's again good news for us, because I thought Lewis Hall did a very good job of trying to keep Salah under control when we played against them. So no Anthony Gordon, no Lewis Hall. You know, certainly looks like Newcastle fans will be cursing their luck. Is there any news on the Isak injury? And the only thing I'd seen was that he's okay, basically. There was no new what's the word I'm looking for? He didn't exacerbate the injury or anything. It was just a precaution that he was taken off, I think, in the FA Cup tie. So I think, as of right now, Newcastle are optimistic that he'll be fit and good to go. Kathy, you're very kind, my friend. Thank you. Kathy said, I have to say I love this channel and the chat. Well done for creating a great Liverpool channel. So, look, Kathy, the chat is what makes the channel. You guys are what makes the channel. And on that, I want to ask you a little question, if I could be so pushy. Did any of you guys watch the clip Connor put up on the Anfield Agenda Clips channel that was titled "How Anfield Agenda Changed Craig's Life." If I could ask you one small favour, that gives you a real understanding of what the channel means to me and how I got here. So if you have a chance, maybe you didn't even know we had the Clips channel, I don't know, but if you can, give it a watch. It's about 9 minutes long. It's not on the main channel, it's on our Clips channel. Just search Anfield Agenda Clips if you get a chance. It was taken from a stream we did, I think, a few weeks ago, but Connor was holding on to it and put it out recently, and I mentioned it last night. I just want to quickly say it again. Myself and my wife read through all the replies, all the comments under it, and we're just blown away by the support. Again, I want to just say thank you to everyone that left kind words on it. I hope it gives you a bit of an understanding of maybe why I'm as animated as I am at times and the person that I am. It was not a section that we ever planned on. Sorry, I'm not crying, by the way, here. My eye is literally itchy, so I'm scratching it. It wasn't a section that we ever planned to talk about, but somebody just asked me an honest question about my parents, and it kind of went from there. But yeah, if you get a chance, give it a watch. And also, thank you for helping us get the Clips channel up to... Mark's put the link in there now as well. Thank you, Mark. So I'm going to pin that, Mark. 1 second. Yeah, I'm going to pin that comment so people can actually watch it. 1 second. Unpin that one and pin this one. There you go. So it's pinned to the top of the chat there now. The link to it if you haven't given it a watch. And if you haven't subbed to the Clips channel, please do, by the way. We're going to try our best to try and get that to get us a YouTube Silver Play button in the future, which of course requires 100,000 subscribers. At the minute, the Clips channel's up at about, I think it's about 43,000 subscribers, something like that. So thank you to everyone that left those comments and watched it. It means more than you'll ever know. Keane said, hard to see you like that, but love you even more now. It just came out of nowhere that day, mate. You know, it was a very straightforward question somebody asked me, and it is what it is, you know. I just wanted to let people know kind of what brought me here, you know, and why it means so much to me more than anything else. Kathy said, I saw that. I appreciate you as a content creator and a fan. There's nothing wrong with passion, and I love you for that. Thank you. Appreciate you, Kathy. Yeah, it's been a remarkable turnaround over the past few years in my life. You know, just me as a person. If you knew me 5, 6, 7 years ago, you've probably seen a far more aggressive, angry, bitter man. But you guys have chiseled away and softened me up a bit over the years, and I feel like I'm a better person, for that, because of your support. So again, thank you. Craig, are you excited for the match tomorrow, and what's your score prediction? I am, Benedict, very excited. Score prediction, I'm gonna go 1-1. It's not the sexiest of score lines, but I'm trying to be honest. I think I take a score draw. I'd rather we win, and of course it's possible we win, but I take a score draw and bring them back to Anfield. But yeah, definitely excited. It feels ages since we played a Champions League game. And also, it being a week between our last game and now also feels strange, considering we've had a run of games. So we've 4 games now between now and the international break. So we've got Paris Saint-Germain away tomorrow, Southampton at home on Saturday at 3. Next Tuesday, we've got Paris Saint-Germain at home in the second leg. And then, of course, down to Anfield South for the cup final against Southampton. No, not Southampton, sorry, Newcastle on March 16th. CF787 said, really moving to hear your backstory. Should be very proud of how far you've come and help you're giving others by telling your story. Would you believe, mate, that was only... That was the quick version of the backstory. If I ever went into it on a podcast in far more information and had time to prepare for it, I could probably take you through more ins and outs. But the reason I speak about these things openly is because I think it's important that people realise that who you are at a specific point in your lifetime, or where you are, it's not going to define you forever. Any situation is salvageable, and once you're still here smiling, you don't know what the world has in store for you. So never, as Mo says in his t-shirt, never give up. Just keep ploughing on. You know, I was very lucky. I had a reason to keep pushing on. I had my family and my wife, and I needed to show that my kids can't give up. So yeah, that's it. I always speak with my heart about mental health, because I don't ever think, and have never thought, it's something to be embarrassed about. You know, we're all fucked up in our own ways, and we'll all have periods in our life where we might need a bit of help. And I think it's important that people know asking for that help is perfectly natural, and it's nothing to be ashamed of. You know, I'll speak proudly about my mental health battles because I'm here. William said, Craig, you and this community helped me massively dealing with my mental health battles with suicide. Thanks a lot, mate. I appreciate you're still here, William. I'm very fortunate in that, for me, I never had that side. You know, I had anxiety and I had battles, but I never really had any thoughts really of real serious harm or anything. It was just feeling like you have a purpose sometimes in life is important. And now I feel like I have an obligation, a duty to make sure that I speak up and people feel like it's so great to see your generation, or this generation of young people coming through way more open and happy to speak about mental health. That's good. That's a win for the world. Which one is Connor in the comedy club photo? Oh, cool. Right, let me bring it back up for you and I'll go through it all for you again so you can see. Right, so from left to right, very far left is Jack Gill. Next is Conor Crosby, the Caoimhín Kelleher lookalike. Then comes some big Irish idiot in the middle, some big bald dope. We don't know him, he's not important. Then the one to the right of me with the hair is Chris Stonage, who is a press officer for the World Snooker Tour and a former Anfield Agenda contributor. And Chris will be interviewing me on the night. And then Steve Bland is the other bald gentleman on the right hand side. So yeah, Connor is the Caoimhín Kelleher lookalike. Joshua said, your parents would be proud to see the man you are, Craig, a true role model. Look, I don't see myself as a role model. And I know this sounds harsh, but I don't care what my parents think, because they left me in that mess. So the only people I'm concerned about being proud of me are my wife and kids, because they're the ones that stuck by me. Jay Muse said, you helped me with my anxiety through COVID. Appreciate you, my man. Heck said, proud this channel plays a part in getting rid of the stigma when it comes to mental health. We'll all have our struggles. Exactly. And like, the easiest way to describe it is if you walked into a room with a cast on your arm and you broke your arm, people would say you're all right, because they'd see it. They'd know you had a broken arm. But you never know what's behind somebody's facial expressions or smiles, or, you know. So I always try to make an interaction with people one where they smile if I can, because I know on days where I've been crap, a little smile or a little funny joke has changed things for me on that day. Nothing like Kelleher. I'm sorry, he's very, very much like Kelleher. Either you're blind, or every other human being on the planet that's seen Connor and thinks he looks like Kelleher is wrong. And I'm going to say you're wrong on that one, Mama. Maybe not in that picture, perhaps, but he very much does like Kelleher. They've the same hair colour, same kind of height, both cultures. Ryan said, always loved your openness and honesty about mental health. It's thankfully becoming less of a stigma thanks to open people such as yourself. Still a long way to go. Keep up the amazing work. Yeah, definitely is a long way to go, but it's going in the right direction, as you've said. Right, ladies and gents, 10 minutes to go on tonight's stream. So anything that you want to go through or any questions you have, lash them into the chat. We'll have a news recap video coming up at about just before 11 o'clock with an interesting story about Hugo Ekitike that I've held back. It might just be that picture, P-Baddy. You know, it might be a bad picture for the comparison, but I'll try and find him a goalkeeper's kit one day and make him take a picture in it. James Moore said, just joined. Of course, Madrid won Canada. He's the only centre-back in the world who can cover for Trent when he goes forward. That's really weird that you said that, James. Because you're the second person who said that tonight. And I never made that connection in my head before until yourself and the other gentleman earlier on said it. But they're not getting him. I think we can agree on that one, right? I'll be very intrigued to see if they try to go after Saliba, though. You know, if I was an Arsenal fan, I'd be nervous about Madrid maybe trying to get Saliba. Did Gakpo miss training yesterday? Yes. So we went to the training centre, I believe, but didn't take part in the open training. And speaking about it, Arne Slot said, let me get it, he was close to being ready to play, but unfortunately he had to block a shot and felt pain again. We've taken him to judge tomorrow if he can be part of the squad. It will be a close call. So, yeah, one way or another, it's a tough one. And of course, I had him in my predicted 11. Always the way. But I hope he is available tomorrow because we could certainly use him. Boeing Zibidi said, do you think Slot will replace the reported players to replace them with faster guys have better tackles, interception stats? I really don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to expect. I just want the contract sorted first, and then we can talk about transfers when we get closer to the summer. But for me, that's the one that makes me nervous. It's just the contracts. You're looking great. Some weight loss, mate. Fair play, said Keane. Thank you. I need to lose more, man. It's clear, but little steps in the right direction. He says as he's about to go and demolish a plate of pancakes in a while, but it is Pancake Tuesday. Thomas Joyce, how are you, bro? Where's that one? There it is. Said love Arsenal, but Magdalene sisters would be PSV. Well, we didn't. Yeah, look, fair play to them. To get any result like that away from home in Europe, you're going to be happy about it. And I think themselves and Aston Villa can be very happy with their results today. Hopefully we can talk about us in a similar vein tomorrow. Tom, is Joe Gomez season over and possibly his Liverpool career? I've not heard a confirmation definitively, Tom, that it's over. But it certainly feels like he won't have a significant part to play this season if he does get back. So I'm kind of expecting a season to be pretty much over. But in answer to the second part of your question, I think that'll come down to what Joe wants to do. If Joe wants to move and play more in his career, I don't think the club will stand in his way. But you certainly wouldn't be looking to move him out, would you? Being a great servant to the club, a very good, capable defender. But again, it might come down to what he wants to do. And if he wants to get a move away, I don't think the club will stand in his way as long as it's a deal that works. Would you rather Canade sign a long-term 5-year deal or VVD a 2-year deal? I want both. Because either one leaving in the next year or two would be a huge headache and a problem. So I want both. And we should be expecting both, to be honest. Now, there's no reason why we shouldn't be getting Virgil done, Mo done, Bradley done, Canade done. I'm not sure what's happening with Diaz because I don't know if he's going to stay or go. And I'm not sure what's happening with Trent because, like I've said all the way through, I have no idea what's happening there. Yes, Lewis Hall will miss the final. Darshan, that was reported by Sky earlier on. Or not Sky, sorry. They said... I'm tripping over myself. Yes, Lewis Hall's going to miss the final. That has been reported. He was sent to see a specialist and it looks like the final's going to come too soon. And there was also confirmation from Sky Sports that Newcastle are not going to try to appeal the Anthony Gordon red card. So he'll be out for 3 games and one of them will be the League Cup final. And to everyone celebrating Ramadan, by the way, much love to all of you. I really learned a lot about Ramadan actually over the last few years from questions and you guys give me the answers to, and I love the idea behind it. It's a very beautiful thought process to kind of feel the hunger and pain and the suffering of others. Yeah, so Ramadan Mubarak to everybody. I hope both sides of Dembele's pillow were warm so we can take advantage of anything we get. Do you think Darwin should be given more chances in the first team? No. For me, Tom, the less I see him on the pitch, particularly in moments that matter, between now and the end of the season, I'll feel calmer. I only want to see him in games where we're a couple of goals ahead and we don't need him to become a solution, because the last two performances for him I just haven't been anywhere near good enough, particularly the Villa Park trip. King Rick said, I love Jota, but wouldn't mind seeing him move on in the summer. Yeah, we can't have too much change though. We need to be careful of that as a club as well. There could be a world where we're talking about 8-9 outgoings here, and that's a whole lot of upheaval in one window. Especially when Richard Hughes can't get a contract sorted out in 9 months for players who are already here. They'll want Canada even more after the PSG game. I just don't see the appeal to Canada, apart from the fact he's a Parisian. Apart from that, I don't see the appeal of going to play for Paris Saint-Germain. Liverpool are a far bigger club. And I don't think anybody would debate that. Liverpool are just a bigger club, and Canada, in my opinion, is a destination club, not a stepping stone club. Would you please consider posting more podcasts? I don't know, man. I'm still trying to figure out if I'm going to be here next season or not. I don't know about taking on more workload at this point. Like I said this the other day, initially when we booked that end of season show, that was to be my farewell at the time. Because I was in a dark place at that time and I was getting lots of grief, and that was my bye-bye, and I wanted it to be at that venue because I love the city and I love how welcome we've been at that venue. But then I thought, you know what, let's go again next season. But I've been up and down about it. So I don't know about more content, man. I had to step away from the stuff at League Gunner because I'd taken on too much. But I do love the idea of a podcast. It's just I don't want to do it on my own, and it's tough to take the time you need to build up a podcast again. Why don't you think you'll be here next season? No, I didn't say I won't be. I said I'm not sure. Because we always sit down at the end of the season and talk as a family. And see what we're thinking, where our heads are at. I've got to take into account my wife as well. She wants to get back into the workplace, and there's lots of stuff that needs to be figured out. It certainly won't be from not enjoying what I do or, not appreciating where we are. But I've always been honest about it. We do it on a rolling season by season thing. And look, there's every opportunity I am here next season. I mean, if I was to say today, I'd say, yeah, I'll be here, because I feel positive and upbeat. But, I've probably underestimated what it was going to take to get to this point. It's been a very selfish act from me at times. Not having much downtime, spare time, family time, missing weddings, missing birthday parties. It takes a lot to dedicate the time it needs to keep this thing chugging along. But I hope to be here next season. I feel like I've unfinished business in this industry and with this channel and community, And if somebody's ever going to hit 1 million YouTube subscribers for Liverpool content, I'd like it to be us. Craig Gunner's a great guy. Oh, he is. He's a gem. And I can't wait to meet up with him. We're going to Spain in 2 weeks. And we're spending a week over there. And Lee's going to come up and spend a couple of days with us at the villa that we've rented. So can't wait to meet up with Lee and get a much needed downtime, because it's been balls to the wall since Christmas. I'm absolutely flat out. Like, if I get 2 days off a month, that's probably a good month for me. What would you do? Go back taxiing? No, I'd probably look to stay in this industry, not YouTube but media, and probably, I've been offered radio work. I've been offered a few other bits and pieces over the years. Look, don't get me wrong. My aim is to be here. I want to be here. I just don't, like I've said this all the way through, there's some times where I feel like I'm a negative to the Liverpool fan base, and if it gets to the point where I'm causing more problems than doing good, I'll step away. And I don't want to be something that makes our fan base look like a laughing stock or anything like that, That's basically it in a nutshell. I don't want to overstay my welcome, and I don't want to cause my fellow Liverpool fans any undue ball ache. That, and I'm not very confident. That as well. I'm in Spain. Weather's atrocious. Well, I'm not going for another 2 weeks, so hopefully it clears up a little bit. But look, even if it is crappy weather, just having the break for a week from work. I've been saving up money for the last few months to make sure that I can take that week off properly without having to work and it not impact anyone. So I'm really looking forward to it. Alex said, so apparently Hall is out of the League Cup final. Yep, that's my understanding of it, mate. I did report to you the other day that he was going to see a specialist, and it looks as if he's ruled out. And certainly Anthony Gordon's definitely ruled out now, because Newcastle aren't going to appeal. I think the toxic positivity is the biggest issue in the fan base at HUGHES. So, like, I know this sounds like a woe is me thing, but it really isn't easy to be the guy who's rightly or wrongly thought of as the FSGO poster boy. And you take a lot of flack, because you've got all the media against you, because obviously you're calling them out. You've got the club that you love not wanting nothing to do with you because you're being critical of the ownership. You've got certain parts of the fan base that you love thinking that you're a problem in the fan base. And sometimes that becomes overwhelming for me. And I just kind of want to hide in a corner and pull the covers over my head and go away. But yeah, that's it. That's it in a nutshell. I don't want to be an embarrassment. I don't want to be a toxic strain on the fan base. But I do feel like I'm justified in what I say. I do feel I've no regrets about anything I've said about the owners, journalists, none. I stand by every single word of it. But I wish I had more, I'm going to say more support, but by that I don't mean with viewers. I mean, I wish we'd more support. I wish more people were becoming more vocal about questioning why the journalists aren't questioning enough stuff, or why FSG haven't spent enough. That's the part that grinds me down at times, because it's overwhelming. How much do you think we get for Darwin in the summer? I think I said last night, probably 60 if he stays in Europe, maybe 70-ish if he goes out to Saudi. Is somebody else going to be making the videos in your week off? Nope. Just no content for that week. And it has to be done, man. It just has to be done. I need to take that week, because I'd be no good to you guys if I didn't. Craig, to be fair, mate, you are selling Where's the Money John hoodies. But you see, even at that, Stuart, right, the Where's the Money John hoodies people think about that as a problem. When I say, where's the money, John? I've never meant it to be a way, me questioning that he's hoarding money or that he's siphoning money over to the Red Sox or anything like that. It's been a, where's the money, John, you cheap fuck, basically. And I'm selling the hoodies because you asked for it, remember? I've been asked for months and months and months and months and months about merch. And we brought out merch because people asked us about merch. I've no interest in selling anything to anybody other than the tickets to our live shows. Because I don't think of you guys as a cash cow. I think of you as friends. But it's also a fuck you from me to the journalists as well. I'll be honest about that. Like, I am a shithouse. There's no denying that. Like, I'm absolutely a shithouse. Anyone that knows me will tell you that. I love winding people up. And also, the fact that that's become a thing makes me very proud. Where's the money, John? Like, that makes me really proud that that's even a thing. Like, if anyone says that now, they're going to think of us. And that makes me smile. Is Canade leaving? I hope not, Mihail. But all we can say is that still no breakthrough in the contract. PSG and Real Madrid are apparently showing an interest. But look, I would be astonished if Ibrahim Canade doesn't stay and isn't given a new deal. So I feel very upbeat that Canade will be staying. Muckrab said, if anything, Craig, you are anti-toxic and open everyone's eyes to the ownership shite. Yeah. But again, I don't think they're entirely bad people at all. I just think there's a couple of issues that they've gotten away with that we should be pushing back on. Right, anyway, I'm going to say goodnight to you guys. I'm going to go record that video around. There's going to be some stories in it. Let me get you the notes. We're going to be talking about Lewis Hull. We're going to be talking about a price tag for Hugo Ekitike and what they will be asking in the summer. We're going to be going through the officials for the Carabao Cup final and a little bit on Darwin Núñez as well. So I'm going to record that straight away, and that should be out in the next 20 minutes or so. If I don't see you then, I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully, for the watch along from 6:45. Massive game. Well done to Aston Villa. Well done to Arsenal on their wins tonight. Hopefully we can get our job done tomorrow. Again, appreciate you guys. We're one like away from 500, so if you could drop a like, that would be appreciated. And we'll see you tomorrow. Much love. Bye bye.